Welcome to tonight's show. It's Monday night. My name's Phil. If you're watching this live, we want your views. Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Was it a good season? Was it a bad season? It wasn't a bad season, was it? It was a great season. Get your views in, get your comments in. My name's Phil. We're going to be chatting, you and me, for the next 30 minutes. I want your views. I want your comments, and we'll just have a chat about everything that has just been Leicester City. What a season. What a day yesterday. I am still absolutely gutted about it. I want to know what you guys think about it. So join me in today's Fan Zone show. Yeah, indeed. Get your views in, get your comments in. As ever, I can get them on screen and we can react to them. Lorraine says, I think we had a good honest, to be fair. I'm happy with the FA Cup and fifth. Lorraine, this is the big one, isn't it? Would you have taken that at the start of the season? Of course you would have done, and of course I would have done. But I tell you what, and this is part of my problem from yesterday, is that with 14 minutes to go yesterday, at 76 minutes, we were 2-1 up. Chelsea, as we all know, lost. We were 2-1 up with 14 minutes to go. How on earth did we end up losing that 4-2 and blowing Champions League? People will say, I know you'll put in the comments, Jamie says he's still in a rant mood. I'm still in a rant mood because, Jamie, with 14 minutes to go, we were in the Champions League. A lot of people yesterday said, oh, we blew it against Southampton. Oh, we blew it earlier in the season against Fulham. Oh, we blew it against Newcastle. Listen, we blew it yesterday. Doesn't matter about the rest of the season. With 14 minutes to go, spookily 14 minutes reminds me of the Silva saga, but 14 minutes, what on earth did we do yesterday? Dave says we blew it at Newcastle. Dave, it doesn't matter about Newcastle, doesn't matter about Fulham, doesn't matter about Southampton. We had it yesterday in our hands. We had home advantage. We had 8,000 fans cheering them on. We had 14 minutes to defend a 2-1 lead. That's what we had to do. We blew it yesterday. That's my opinion. I want to know what yours are. Mick wants to know about Yuri. What was going on at the end there? Yuri came out, did a lap in tears. Again, this is those people who say the glass is half full. We won the FA Cup. Didn't we do well? It'll be people like Yuri Tielemans who big clubs will be sniffing around, Mick. And that is going to be the trouble. Glenn says, is Tielemans leaving because we didn't make Champions League? Hope not. Glenn, he's a top player. That's what they want. This is why I am annoyed about yesterday. And I'm annoyed 2 seasons we've been in the top 4, all bar last season, the very last game, and this season. So that's why I'm a bit ranty tonight, but I want your views. That's why players like Tielemans and Maddison's will probably leave us at some point. What do you want to know? Yeah, LCFC Gray says, it hurts that Villa opened the door and we shut it. We didn't take the advantage. How do you explain it? I mean, you know, what do you do? What do you do? Imran says it was a great season, but could have been an amazing season. Our last 6 games were poor. I agree. Steve says, yes, we threw it away with 15 minutes to go, but we won the bloody FA Cup and got European tour back on total success. Steve, I get it. We won the FA Cup, and that is brilliant. I love the FA Cup. It's fantastic. But, Steve, we should have got Champions League. We should have got it. We've been in the top 4 all season. We were in the top 4 yesterday with 14 minutes to go, Steve. We blew it. We threw it away. So great that we got the FA Cup, but in the end, I am still gutted that we didn't make Champions League. And I'd like to think Brendan Rodgers is gutted, and the players are. I'm sure they will be gutted. I really am sure. Matty says maybe a reality check. Maybe, but we've been better this season than most of the other teams. Michael says it's been an unbelievable season. We won the FA Cup. Yeah, it's been a really, really, really good season, Michael, but I'm not quite sure unbelievable. I'll tell you why, Michael. I'm not sure it's unbelievable. Because we did the unbelievable in 2016. We won the Premier League. And that has raised my expectations now. I'm sorry. I don't mind. I've watched 40 years of rubbish at Filbert Street and King Power Stadium. Most of it rubbish, if I'm honest. But now I'm up there. I'm aiming high. Michael. So an unbelievable season for me. I wouldn't be unbelievable if we won the Premier League because we've done it. So why would that be unbelievable to win the Premier League again? It wouldn't. I think we can. I don't know about you guys. I don't know what it is. I think we can win the Premier League again. I really do. I look at this season and look at some of the games we've lost and thought, if only we'd have won them. We've had a great season. Rob says it's been a good season, FA Cup and in Europe. Let's not get down on the team. I agree with you. I'm not getting down on the team, Rob, in the slightest. I think it's been a wonderful season and it's been one of the best in the club's history. Just could have been that bit better. That's the thing. I think we're allowed to say that, aren't we, Rob? I want your views. John O'Tower says also gutted. Massive opportunity missed to hyperspeed the club's development. You're talking about, what is it, 70, 80 million pounds? You see, Jono, this is part of my thing is if we'd have made Champions League, the club gets in 70 or 80 million quid, doesn't it? Without that, I think the Europa League is about 13 million. So it's a swing of about 50 to 60 million pounds different. And that's pretty much what we sell a player in the summer for. You know, we've sold Chilwell for 50 to 60. You know, we sold Maguire for 80. You know, we sold Moretz for 60. Every chance we'll sell a player this summer for 60 million to 70 million and then go and invest that in 2 or 3 players. That's the model. If we'd have made Champions League, maybe we wouldn't have sold that player. Do you think we'll sell a player? Get your views in. Gareth says massive FA Cup. Would have done that. Dave, yes, would have taken it at the start of the season. Dave, would you have took it yesterday with 15 minutes to go? Because with 15 minutes to go, we were 2-1 up at home with no Spurs fans, 8,000 Leicester fans there. Would you have took it with 15 minutes to go? If I'd have said, I don't think you would. And that's what I'm saying. I think we absolutely, I'm not going to say, I don't think we bottled it at all. I don't like that we bottled it. I don't think we bottled it, but something happened that couldn't get us over the line. And how did we lose 4-2 at home in the end? How are you 2-1 up with 40 minutes to go and you lose 4-2? Strange. Jamie from the Fox's Arms saying 242 days in the top 4. Hitesh saying, feeling a bit better now after yesterday from a fantastic season. Now it's a great season. It is. It's a great season. You're right, Hitesh. I think you're right with that. Hill says, I'm not happy with bottling it. Winners want to win. We've had so many chances to seal Champions League. We did have a couple, didn't we? Maz says, happy with 5th and FA Cup. I think, Maz, every fan is going to be happy. I'm happy. But I'm also frustrated about yesterday. I am frustrated because, Maz, I was frustrated last year when we did it. Man United, last game of the season. It's not easy, but beat Man United and you're in the Champions League at home. This season, in the end, it was beat Spurs at home and you're in the Champions League. And I know it's Spurs, but again, we're better than Spurs. We should have done it. Dara says, lost opportunity. Yeah, Patrick, I think Patrick's got a fair point with that comment. He says, why 3 subs on the bench? Why did you not bring on, well, what was there? The Fuchs, Wes Morgan and Marty on the bench and moving Ndidi back. I agree. I have to agree with Patrick. I don't know what you think. It did seem strange. We called it yesterday and we said as soon as Ndidi went back from midfield where he was bossing it as normal, it seemed strange. Why have you got centre-backs on the bench if you're not going to bring them on? And I know somebody will come in and say, Fuchs, Morgan, God, if these lads can't turn in one 60-minute performance when we need it, I think they would have done. I remember Steve Walsh back in the day limping onto a playoff final pitch to pull it out for us. So I think Wes could have done it. Really disappointed with the result. Should have picked up points against the weaker sides. Could have. Hitesh says he's with me. Listen, I want to hear if you're not, because some people definitely are in the camp that it's a great season, and that's fine. And like I keep saying to you, it has been a great season. I've seen so many more worse seasons than from that. But just disappointed. The councillor, good evening, sir, says, was at the game yesterday and at touchside, we had nothing left. Albright and Thomas had nothing left in the tank. That's interesting, Council. Obviously, I wasn't there because I'd been to Wembley, couldn't get tickets for yesterday. Hope you enjoyed the game, sir, and let us know what more. What was the atmosphere like? Because on the TV, it did come across as a bit flat at times. I've seen Josh, aka Sports, has sent us some videos, and it looked like it was a good atmosphere in the crowd yesterday, but it did feel a bit flat watching from home. But again, you can't beat being in the crowd, so would have liked that. Yeah, Imran says January transfer window came back to haunt us. No depth in squad. We didn't sign anybody. There's a few bits this season you could go back. I think what we're going to do on Leicester Fan TV is over the next week or so, we are going to look back at the season in depth with you guys, and we want to. There are some bits. January transfer window for me, we didn't sign anybody, and I think that was, well, in hindsight now, you'll say it was a mistake because we didn't get over the Champions League line. That's a big talking point. Another one has still got to go back to that COVID party because that messed things up a little bit, if you ask me. Look at when it happened and look at the fixtures after that. Certainly the West Ham game when 3 of the players didn't play. There is some talking points from this season. So keep getting your views in, keep getting your comments in. Asanda says Dennis Pratt would have made a difference. Do you know what? I'm really looking forward to seeing Dennis Pratt, Tielemans and Castagna playing for Belgium in the Euros. I know he went out with injury. I agree. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Dennis Pratt, but again, that's hindsight. Anthony says, honestly, after we went 2-1 up, knew we would still blow it. Spurs were up for it a lot more. Why, Anthony? Why should Spurs be more up for it than us? So, if that's what you think, Anthony, and I'm not saying you're wrong, why were Spurs more up for it? Why? Because they're playing to get into the Europa Conference League. We're playing to get in the Champions League. Both teams should have been up for it. Leicester, we had 8,000 fans there. We said on Tuesday playing at Chelsea last week that it was a bit unfair that Chelsea fans were there, no Leicester fans there. Well, we should have made that home advantage count. LCFC Grace says, question is, why do we lose to relegated sides, i.e. Fulham? It's a great question. I'm going to put that one back on. It's a strange season. The one we've just had has been like no other season. We've won way many away games and lost too many home games. It's been a very strange season. But you're right, there are some very strange results in there. I mean, how did we beat the champions 5-2 at their place? So there has been some strange results. But yesterday was more back to normal. There was fans in the ground cheering them on. You know, that was there for us to do it. Pro Duelist says, if Rodgers went to a 4-4-2 after Fofana's injury, it could have been an easy 3 points. LCFC Gray says, we look knackered for some reason. Well, we've played the same games as most of the other big 6 clubs. Some of them have played more than us because they played more in Europe. So, Simon says they have to finish above Arsenal. We have to finish above Chelsea, Simon. We had Champions League. Champions League's worth so much money, so much brand awareness. Dearie me, we just couldn't have had any more inspiration if we needed it. Hassan says defensively we were poor. It was a bit Bournemouth away last year at the end. It was a bag of spanners, wasn't it, at the end? It really was strange. David, what a question. Love your Roy Cropper photo as well, David. But he says, where would you expect Leicester to finish next season? It's going to be a topic. We're going to do that one properly. I think we can challenge for the league. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of Leicester fans are like, oh my gosh. Oh, so amazing that we won the FA Cup, which it was. I love it. But it's like we have won the Premier League in the last 5 years. We have been in the Champions League before. You know, we have been in the top 4 the last 2 seasons. I think some of us need a bit of a need to think, come on, puff your chest out and say, we can be a top 4 club. We've been a top 4 club for the last 2 years and then not done it. So I think we can be top 4 again next season. I really can. I'd like to think we might even have a challenge for the Premier League title again. Why not? Why not? Hassan says he agrees in that. Defensively poor, but massively impacted by injuries again. We have, Ian, to be fair, we have had a lot of injuries. We have, haven't we? but so did Liverpool, and they got it over the line. And recently, yesterday, we've been all right for injuries, I think. I think over a season, it's I know Evans was out yesterday and Fofana dropped out, but we just had to get over that line yesterday and we couldn't do it. John O'Tower says, for me, next season, push for Europa and top 6 again. We need to stop the little old Leicester mentality. I agree, Jono, but I think that needs to start with the fans, because I think the players think it. And I think as fans, we've got to get that mentality where we want to win it. David's got a big one here. Let's try and get through this. He says, missing Harvey Barnes. Yeah, JJ part of the season. Fofana coming off early. Missy Evans was pivotal. Having said that, next season, if we have the same mentality and cover for positions, we'll definitely challenge for the league title. Yeah. Yes. I think most teams can say they were missing players this season on and off. It's been a strange one. David says Perez and Maddison not good enough. Do you agree with what David says there? That's what we want to know. Do you agree with him? I think Maddison could be one of those that is targeted this summer by the big clubs. And I could imagine him being, a target for one of them. Ross says we need a striker. Again, Ross, we've got so much to talk about in the close season. Who we're going to sign, definitely, of course, it's going to be one. And a striker is 100% in there. Brentford are in the playoff final against Swansea on Saturday. I almost want them to win, but I almost want them to lose, because then hopefully we can go and sign Ivan Toney. I fancy him. I think he's the one to go. Ollie Watkins, I thought we should have got last year. Callum Wilson, thought we should have gone for. So Ivan Toney looks decent. Surely a big step up for him to come to Leicester next season. I think we're the sort of club who would take a gamble on him. Ollie Watkins, we sort of let some of these players go to people like Newcastle and Villa, and I think they'd have preferred to come to Leicester. I really do. So I would go for Ivan Toney. David says he agrees with that. He would go for that. Maddison was, get Harry Kane, who says, Mark. Well, he's not going to come, is he? Let's be honest, Mark. But I hear what you're saying. If only we got Champions League, there's players, again, it's rumours, isn't it? But there's players who were rumoured before the weekend saying they'd come to Leicester if Leicester got Champions League. I can guarantee you we will miss out on some players that would have come to Leicester, but because we're not in the Champions League now, we will miss out on a couple of players. We'll never know who, but you know that is what's going to happen. So, would Ivan want to come when we got rid of him at 16, says Philip Howard. Get your views into that. Ian says, watch Sumer for Lille last night. Didn't impress at all. We're quite heavily linked with him, aren't we, to be fair? Robert says, who's the striker at Celtic? We're supposed to be signing. Well, Edouard. But again, I'm not sure. Not quite sure on his quality. I've seen him play a few times and he's looked okay, but it's a bit of an average league, that Scottish league. Again, no disrespect to Celtic or Rangers. Jamie says Danny Ings. No, backward step for me now, mate. I would have took Danny Ings last summer. I'd have took him in the January transfer window just to help us get over the line. I think no, not for me now. I don't know how old he is, but I think we need. I want to go more exciting than that. I've got higher expectations now, if I'm honest, than that. Although I'm saying go for Ivan Toney, but I think he's a real good young prospect. So, and I know there's people like Tammy Abrahams. Yeah, Matt Greaves has just put Tammy Abrahams up there. Again, at Chelsea, not getting that much game time. I'd be surprised if they let him come to Leicester because we are challenging with them. Why would Chelsea lend us a player? Sell us a player? Why would Chelsea sell us a player? Because they wouldn't. Why would you sell one of your rivals a good player? You wouldn't unless you had to. And again, brings us back to we sold Mahrez to a right. We're rivals with Man City now. Okay, maybe a bit behind them, but we're rivals. We've sold players to Man City. We've sold players to Man United. We've sold players to Chelsea. When are we going to stop? When are we going to get to that point when we don't have to sell our best players or some of our best players to the rivals? Because it only makes them stronger and us weaker. So when are we going to get to that point? Yeah, Craig says we sell them to rivals. I'm laughing at this comment. Get Billy Sharp in. Again, Billy Sharp is a name, obviously, who I would have about 10 years ago would have shouted for Billy Sharp. Kevin says we need a Giroud type player who's good in the air, can hold the ball up well for Vards to run onto. Yeah, again, Nacho didn't have the greatest game yesterday. It certainly wasn't that great at Wembley either. Michael's put in Aguero. I believe he's going to Barcelona, isn't he, Michael? Jono says Maddison swap with Maddison. Let Maddison, Chilwell laugh and joke together after full time. Well, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Maddison did end up somewhere like Chelsea, because he clearly does still get on very well with Ben Chilwell. Yes, Keith says you're a bundle of joy tonight. Keith, I guess. Do you know what, Keith? I think what it is I keep coming back to this. We have won the Premier League, and I'm not taking it as a fluke. Are you, Keith? Was it a fluke in 2015, 16? Or, like, we actually won it, and we did get in Champions League, and we have been in the top 4 for the last 2 seasons, Keith. The bar is raised. Konvichai raised the bar, and we all laughed. 2014, he says we're going to be a top 5 team. We all laughed. We are there now. We are 2 years on the trot. We're a top 5 team. So, I guess I am going to be frustrated, Keith, today. Much as I love the FA Cup, I am frustrated that with 14 minutes to go, we didn't do it yesterday. And I'm interested about your comments, because Kasper's had a really, really good season this year, but he absolutely fluffed that up. He scored an own goal, and then we let 2 more in. And to be fair, they only looked like one team going to go on and win it at 2-2. It was in our hands yesterday, Keith. I am going to be annoyed. If you're not annoyed, that's fine. If you're just settling, that's fine. But I'm not. I'm like, I've watched 40 years of stuff which is okay, and some great, some not so great. I think we can challenge for the Premier League title next year. Maybe that's me being stupid, but that's what I wanted to be, Keith. So that's why I'm annoyed tonight. Yeah, Mick says the points Kasper saved us. I know he saved us plenty. I know he has. I'm not criticising Kasper for yesterday. I'm not criticising him. It's just a shame. It's one of those things we'll look back on, isn't it? It's like Richard Stearman's header hitting the crossbar against Stoke. It's just one of those things we'll look back on. It's like Tony James sliding in and scoring against Oxford. It's one of those moments. Kasper punching it into his own goal. He didn't mean to, but he did, So Craig says Kasper not commanding his 6-yard box is why we concede so many set pieces. It's an interesting one, Craig. I've no stato. If Jamie is watching, somebody will tell us how many goals we've conceded from corners. We need to work on that. It was another one yesterday. It's cost us. Yeah, Aslo says, yeah, West Ham summed up Leicester's season. Everyone thought they might reach top 4, but they're not ready yet. Yeah, Lee, I agree. Kasper was magnificent at Wembley, and is magnificent. He's probably my all-time favourite Leicester keeper ever. Now, and that's saying something, because I remember Mark Wallington in particular, but I think Kasper has been superb. Distribution issues some days, and, yesterday was a bit flappy, but Jamie, I can't put that comment on screen. Stato Jamie from the Fox's Arms. Yeah, we've let in a lot of goals from corners this season. Nacho could have made it 3-1 yesterday. If he scores, it's all over. These things need to count to be top 4. Perez also, yeah, again, there is moments. Honestly, Perez at Chelsea had that chance. Sam says Kasper is a good shot stopper, but his distribution and command in the box is awful. I mean, one of the questions again for the summer, you can answer it now if you want. Big Wes has gone. I mean, it's been a strange one. Wes has been club captain all year and not played much. And Kasper's been captain from the back. For me, that is one of the players we need to sign. I think I'd like to see us sign a true captain in the middle of the pitch. Because I think somebody, a Cambiasso type, somebody who's been there, seen there and done it, but real quality, real quality, old head, midfield general, for me, would help us maybe get over the line in some of these matches and make him captain. Casper won't be around forever. He's been awesome week in, week out. Who would you replace him with? I think Casper's around for another year or two, Scott. So I'm not really too keen to chat about who's going to replace him. I think Danny Ward's a decent backup. I just think Casper's indeed going to be there. Mick saying maybe make Johnny Evans captain. It's a decent shout, Mick. It is a decent shout. Talis, we lack leaders in the squad for me. Without Evans, we lack organisation big time. I think you probably hit the nail on the head there, as we say. Andy, yeah, I agree. Keepers, captains, it never seems to work for me either. Tielemans is that man, Jono says. Yeah, he could be. He could be. It could be. I'm not quite sure I see him vocal enough, Jono, to be captain. I mean, he leads by example. He's one of those players. You don't always need to be gobby on the pitch, but you know, and the councillor agrees with you. Johnny Evans for captain says Ian. Sam says Johnny Evans. Helena says Johnny Evans. Yeah, and Hassan says, do we need Ed Tarkowski? We've been linked with him a couple of times, haven't we? I'd almost say we've got too many centre-backs, but then we've ended up with almost none at the end. So maybe we do need to buy him. Again, he clearly has proven that he can play at Premier League level. So it's an interesting one. Ross says Tielemans, and again, this is another interesting debate. Tielemans is so much better player when Madders isn't in the team. I think I've said it before. I think the blend I like is Tielemans and Dennis Pratt as my two midfielders because I think they complement each other better. And that's what I mean. They do. I think you've got Dennis Pratt is box to box but solid. You've got Ndidi who's behind them and blocking things out, and then you've got Yuri Tielemans who's a little bit more creative. But I don't know. Alesso said we've got pretty good scouts, so let's see who they bring in. I agree. Madders didn't like it when he got told not to take a corner. I know that, mind you, some of Yuri's corners haven't been that amazing either, let's be honest. David says, I've got an opinion to share. Go on then, David, let's hear it. He says, do you think those who state we should have got Champions League are talking like Big Six clubs? Yes, I'm not quite sure I know what you mean there, David. I sort of, maybe I'm reacting to this in the wrong way. I often think if you want to be a big club, if you want to be a top six club, you've got to, like, I keep saying, puff up your chest and be like a top six club a little bit. I'm not talking about going off and doing stupid things like the European Super League. I never want to be as cocky as all them, but I do remember Man City fans listening to them on Talk Sport about 15 years ago. They used to always say, the Man City fans, when they didn't quite win the Premier League and all that, they used to say, but I remember playing Gillingham in that playoff final. You remember their big one where it was a topsy-turvy against Gillingham years ago. And they were like, oh, we just got to be thankful because I remember us playing Gillingham. And I sort of feel like that's where we're at as Leicester fans at the moment, is that we'll all say, because you were there with me, I was there, the Yeovil game, Casper scores a header, we've been Yeovil away, we've been to Barnsley, although I know they did all right this season, but we've been to been to Bristol City, been to the games like that, been to Peterborough away, and I know we've done all that, but I'm like, yeah, I can hear why, especially some of the younger fans are like, but we've won the Premier League and we've been top four, so this is what I want, this is what I'm expecting. So that's sort of where I'm at. I'm just going like, heck yeah, I'm going to demand and expect and want top six finishes now and a cup. That's what I want Leicester City to be. It's a glorious place to be dreaming to be in, isn't it? So hopefully that's answered you a little bit in there. Yeah, Ryan, it's an interesting one, says, as a Cardiff fan, Leicester should be in the top four as those six clubs should have had a 6-point deduction. It's gone very quiet on that, hasn't it? And I almost don't want to get in there by default, but surely they have to be punished in some ways for doing that. Surely. It's an interesting one, isn't it? David says some fans sound entitled, I'll be honest. If you're a younger fan, David, I can understand why, because they've seen some great times. There'll be some fans who are maybe 15, 16, 17, and they've just had 6 or 7 of just fantastic years, like we have, but they don't remember the years before it, which was rubbish. But I think that's fine. Yeah, Raj says there, with more success comes greater expectation. I think that's okay, isn't it? I think that's okay to get that. Daniel, I agree. We've talked about Maddison being poached. We've talked about Yuri Tielemans being poached. Probably one of the star players in Leicester's team, we know he's great, and I know a lot of other teams spot him. But Wilfred Ndidi, I tell you what, he could slot into so many teams around Europe. He really could. He really, really could. So I hope he doesn't. There will be a few names in there. Somebody else was talking to me saying they think Sayuncu could be tapped up. Honestly, I don't want to say it, but the Champions League spot would have helped seal some of these players for not looking around. It is an interesting one. Last couple of comments. Champions League, the big six owners didn't want it a fortnight ago. Yeah, I agree, Mick. I agree. I'm sick of hearing about Spurs trying to get Brendan. Well, he's come out and he said he doesn't want to go to Spurs. I think the quote was he's 200% happy. I actually have got no doubt Brendan Rodgers will be at Leicester City next season. I do fear there'll be at least, I think there'll be one player not there. I don't know who it'll be, but I think we may well end up signing one of them. Matt says yesterday the players should have given their all, and I don't honestly think they did. I feel they did, Matt. I feel they did. I just think sometimes it's perhaps, if you're a bit older, Matt, I'm looking at your profile picture there, mate, but I know what you mean. It's sometimes you want to see somebody literally on the pitch with 5-10 minutes to go, like screaming at people to get it in there. So I don't know. I do feel like they did give it. I know they gave it a all, but it's an interesting one. Keith says not all young fans feel entitled. Look at Sportser. He can't be more than 9 years old. Hey, listen, Josh Sportser, he's about 16, so leave him alone. But he has had a good. I tell you what, my lads are 19 and 22. They've had the best time of being a Leicester fan because they've seen the worst. They saw us get relegated to League One, and they saw 4 or 5 years of absolute rubbish before we got relegated. Trust me, I remember taking them down as 5-year-olds, 5 and 7-year-olds to watch the football, and we used to lose a lot before we got relegated to League One. I used to say, it'll get better, lads. Just stick with it. It'll stick with it. And I never thought for a minute it would get this good. Honestly. So, thank you, John O'Towers. Honestly, that's very kind. Thank you for that. And also, David Nielsen, thanks for a great show, he says. And also, Socks Tartan. With your super stickers, I do tell you, don't do it. Keep your money in your pocket. But appreciate it anyway. It helps us keep going. EKG was going to say, my first year liking the Foxes was our League One season. I started at the bottom there. That's Elijah watching out in Canada. Have a happy bank holiday, Elijah. They tried too hard in some respect. Casper particular. Yeah, you could be right. I think you could almost be on something there, Philip. You really could be. It did seem funny. And I think the final comment for tonight goes to Mick Paget because we said it yesterday. Let's just blame Claude Puel. Whatever happens in the world that goes wrong with your life, just say it's Claude Puel's fault. If he hadn't done that, we'd be all right. Listen, as ever, thanks for all your comments. Wherever you're watching Leicester Fan TV, we're going to keep going all the way through the close season because it's going to, obviously there's the Euros on. We're interested to see how Leicester get on. There's so much to talk about. We've really only skimmed the surface. We're going to go back. Jack's live on Leicester Fan TV on Wednesday around 8 o'clock. So join Jack, and Locks is live on Friday, 7:15. James live on Sunday at 10 a.m. There's loads to talk about, honestly. Players coming in. Hopefully no players going out, but I think there will be. What happened this season? Enjoy the FA Cup, all sorts of things. So please do keep getting your comments in. If you can, give us a like, give us a share, subscribe to us wherever you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope. Just enjoy it. It has been a great season. It could have been a bloody fantastic season. And I expect that next season's going to be awesome as well. So it's just a brilliant time to be a Leicester fan. just still feeling slightly deflated after 2 seasons in the top 4 and just not quite getting over the line. But I know you guys feel just the same as me. We'll do it next season, maybe 3 times on the trot. We all remember Watford. If we hadn't lost at Watford, we wouldn't be here. So you just got to be philosophical and go, listen, what's meant to be, que sera, sera. What will be, will be. This time next year, maybe this is what we needed just to spur us on for another Premier League title win. Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Let's do it, but we'll be doing it with you. We love it, and we love Leicester. See you later.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. With special thanks to our pal bank. ADT Taxis, Feed Me, Piglet's Pantry, Tiger, Leicester Garage Conversions, Pink Vehicle Leasing, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Moyer Wade Interiors, and our chosen charity, Memphis UK. We bring you the fans' views on the match each week, and your views matter to us. Join the fans' debate each match with us. Follow us at Leicester Fan TV.